Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi reiterates its instructions on necessity of increasing charitable activities. More than 2.5 million pilgrims commemorate the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam. Severe winter affects nearly 100,000 children in quake hit Afghanistan. And because of the ruling Taliban government, bodies of 3 Shia Afghan pilots could not be repatriated to homeland burial. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London only on Imam Hussein TV 3. The Supreme Religious Authority, His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi, has reiterated his special instructions to the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam to increase their charitable and humanitarian activities to care for the needy and poor families around the world. The official website of His Eminence office, in a statement received by Shia Waves agency, that Grand Ayatollah Shirazi presented a number of recommendations to the visitors in which he stressed the importance of caring for people from poor and needy families and families of orphans and martyrs. Lieutenant General Ali Muthaghal al-Maliki from the Holy Samara Operations Command said that the security plan was successful with nearly 2,567,000 pilgrims. He explained that the Samara Operations Command took several measures to welcome the millions of visitors who came to the shrines of Imam Hassan Askari and Muhammad Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam, the shrine of Sheikh Ibrahim bin Malik al-Ashtar alayhi salam radiyallahu anhu, on the occasion of the anniversary of the martyrdom of Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam. He continued that the other plan included providing services to the visitors in cooperation with the local government of Salahuddin Governorate and the local governments within the district and the area of responsibility. It should be mentioned that more than 2.5 million pilgrims commemorated the painful martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam in the holy city of Samarra. The United Nations has appealed for increased humanitarian aid to assist tens of thousands of children in western Afghanistan who are suffering life-threatening winter conditions following a string of devastating earthquakes last October. More details in the following report.
The warning from UNICEF comes 100 days after a series of earthquakes hit the western Herat region of Afghanistan, causing significant devastation. The disasters resulted in the deaths of over 1,000 people, mainly women and children, and the destruction of 21,000 homes. Many families are still living in tents or exposed to the cold weather, and the ongoing harsh winter is posing a threat to lives and hindering reconstruction efforts. Children are particularly affected, with damaged schools and health centers leaving them without essential services. The situation is exacerbated by the freezing temperatures, leaving families without proper shelter in life-threatening conditions. UNICEF has been providing aid, including converting tented health facilities into more permanent structures and distributing clean water and cash assistance to thousands of affected people. Despite those efforts, thousands of children still require assistance, and UNICEF is concerned about the survival of 96,000 affected children if adequate services are not provided. The UN estimates that around 23 million people, half of whom are children, require humanitarian aid in Afghanistan due to the ongoing conflict, extreme climate shocks and economic decline. The return of the Taliban to power has led to the suspension of development aid and restrictions on women's access to education and work. This is Ali Al-Hadi reporting for Shia Waves.
Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi reiterates his instructions on necessity of increasing charitable activities. More than 2.5 million pilgrims commemorate the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali al-Hadi alayhi salam. Severe winter affects nearly 100,000 children in quake hit Afghanistan. Also tonight, head of civil society organizations in Sudan warns of recruiting young children in ongoing war. The bodies of 3 Afghan pilots who died in December 2023 in a plane crash could not be repatriated to their homeland for burial because the Taliban considers former Afghan Air Force pilots their enemy. Mohammed Hussein Mousawi, who was at the control of the crashed plane, Mohammed Bashir Safdari and Ali Jan Fardowsi were on a training flight to obtain a commercial pilot's license in the US state of Oregon in mid-December last year, before they died in a plane crash. Another problem that accompanied this case was the small number of Islamic cemeteries in the state of Oregon. The closest thing to this description was the Islamic cemetery in the city of Corvallis in the middle of the state, but the cemetery's rules state that the burial is only allowed for Sunnis, not Shia, which led to the victims' friends burying them as strangers in the Islamic center of nearby Portland. And now we'll continue with some shorter news. The chairman of the Indonesian Ulama Council for Foreign Relations and International Cooperation, Sudarto Abdul Hakim, was urged the Indonesian government to pass an anti-Islamophobia law. Islamophobia has now become a global crisis that threatens social life stability and the continuity of personal and public rights. Sudarto said that, quoted by the MUI Digital on Monday, according to him, the anti-Islamophobia law in Indonesia is aimed at protecting Muslims and the society. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, launched missiles at what it claimed were Israeli spy headquarters in Iraq's Kurdish region and hit targets allegedly linked to ISIL and ISIS in northern Syria, saying it was defending its security and countering terrorism. The Kurdish Regional Government, the KRG in northern Iraq, releases a statement on Tuesday saying 4 people were killed and 6 were wounded, dismissing RGC's alleged reasons for attacks as baseless, describing the attacks as a clear violation of Iraq and KRG's sovereignty. It called on the Iraqi central government and the international community not to remain silent against this crime. India's Supreme Court on Tuesday halted plans for a survey aimed at determining if Hindu relics and symbols can be found in the Shahi Idgah Mosque in northern city of Matwara. The court statement mentioned that the application filed for appointment of the local commission was very vague. The ruling comes just days before another key temple built on a raised mosque is set to be inaugurated in the town of Adunia by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference, the APHC, has expressed serious concern over the plots executed by the nationalist Indian government and military establishment against Kashmiri's righteous demand to the right of self-determination in disputed Kashmir. APHC spokesman accused India of suppressing the freedom of movement and imposing Israeli model of state terrorism to alter the demographic character of disputed Kashmir by grabbing more and more land for military purposes, seizing properties from civilians and robbing natural resources. UN Secretary General called once again for a ceasefire in Gaza as the war with Israel has now surpassed 100 days of fighting. Antonio Guterres emphasized the need for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire to ensure sufficient aid delivery and facilitate release of hostages, while describing the deepening humanitarian crisis indescribable. He expressed serious concern over the protracted conflict in Gaza, criticizing the brazen violations of international laws and human rights in the trip. The head of civil society organizations and national initiative to solve the Sudanese crisis, Adel Abdel Baki Ali, in a press statement to Shia Waves agency, Ali said that more than 1,200,000 Sudanese children are currently suffering from miserable humanitarian conditions due to the ongoing conflict in the country, noting that children deprived of support and those with special needs are being exploited in the worst possible ways that do not comply with child rights. Ali confirmed more than 85,000 children in different states are involved in military operations at ages ranging from 9 to 11 years old, accusing the security agencies of exploiting the deplorable state and the displaced people in camps and shelters by mobilizing them in the army, especially children and the elderly. To discuss this further, we have with us Adel Abdul Baqi Ali, head of the Sudanese civil society organizations. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me. Actually, since the events of 15th April, children's and women's has been suffering, and we already know, according to the records of the displaced, there were more than 7 million displaced in Sudan, especially women's and children's. Children has been a victims of the war since 2000, since the events of April 15th. And we've been carefully following the situation in Sudan, probably in some other areas such as Al Jazeera. I think we've been following up the situation that has really took place last past months, where Al Jazeera State is one of the states that hold more than 3.5 displaced camps, and it was being attacked by RACF and ACF. A lot of children has been suffer a lot during that time, and we are still been following up the issue.
In the light of the current Sudanese political and humanitarian crisis, has the international community done its part to save people's lives?
Actually, there was a effort from the IGAD, some regional organizations such as IGAD and African unions, and the International Human Rights Watch has been there. There was some initiative that were proposed by different political parties in Sudan, and actually it has not really touched the situation that is really best, what's really been facing, such as the humanitarian crisis. There is lacks of foods and medical care. As you know, the beginning of the 15th events, a lot of organization has dropped their offices from Sudan, and the humanitarians that was given to Sudan last past months was monopolized by the humanitarian committees that was formed by the regime of ACF. It was being sold. So a lot of displaced people in the displaced camps has been suffering. There were lacks of food and medical care as well. And these things is actually affects on the children with basic needs. And the last updates we last watched last past months, the recruitment of the children. We see a lot of recruitments, military camps in Shamalia, in the northern Sudan, and even in Shendi and in Atbara and Kosti. There were a lot of children being enrolled in military activities, and that is really been affected. A lot of children must go to schools. They must learn. Most of schools are being closed, so they are suffering. So why it's very bad that we enroll children in a military staff that their age is even is not beyond 11 years, and that's really it's make a big threat to the upcoming generation of students. And we really raise the issue to IGAD and UNICEF and some organization that based on human rights that to define children's in Sudan. Children have been suffering seriously, so we need to save for the children in Sudan.
That was the head of the Sudanese civil society organizations, Adil Abdul Baqi Ali. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's take a look at today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi reiterates his instructions on necessity of increasing charitable activities. More than 2.5 million pilgrims commemorate the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali al-Hadi in the holy city of Samarra. Severe winter affects nearly 100,000 children in quake hit Afghanistan. Because of the ruling Taliban government, bodies of 3 Shia Afghan pilots could not be repatriated back to homeland for burial. And the head of civil society organizations in Sudan warns of recruiting young children in ongoing war. You can view the latest news or send news of your country or city to be published on a news agency. Contact us on numbers at the bottom of your screen. Thank you for all watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Are you in court for raping English girls? Remember? You're here defending the paedophile. I'm here defending your dad. Women are here defending the paedophile. You're here defending.
We don't need a TV channel